Get ready for the Magic Valley Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.
That's right. Welcome in. It is another edition of the Magic Valley Prepcast on IdahoSports.com, where we are breaking down the biggest stories in District 4 athletics week in, week out in the great state of Idaho. My name is Brandon Baney, and without further ado, let's bring on our Magic Valley resident and expert. He has been on the road before, broadcasting from places like Las Vegas and Los Angeles, but this is a new one, live from the Big Easy, Nolens, down south. It's Scott Burton. What's up, Scotty?
What's going on, Brandon? Just on a carriage ride here in downtown New Orleans. We're going to be passing through the French Quarter. Right now, we're just kind of right on the edge of the Mississippi. And, man, it's a cool place. It's one of our favorite places to come visit now. And we've spent entire spring break down here. And this is amazing. As you can tell, I'm now one of the locals.
Yeah, you've got a Voodoo Skull t-shirt. You've got the very festive-looking purple and green jacket, and you've got a lot of beads around your neck. Scott, I don't want to know what you had to do to earn those.
Say that, Les.
There's
yeah,
Scott.
you don't want to know. You don't want to know.
All right, so Scott, you and your better half are on a magical carriage ride around New Orleans, and so we will try to do the show as quickly as we can so you can get back to enjoying your time off. But we appreciate you squeezing us in here while you're on break.
Oh, this is awesome. Yeah, you mentioned it in the opening. It's like, man, whenever we're gone and on a trip, there's no better time to do a podcast than live on scene wherever we're at. Knowledge is where we beat this time around. This is great.
Yeah, looks great for sure. Okay, well, we are going to be talking a lot of baseball, a lot of softball today. We are about 2 weeks into the season now, and already, Scott, no shortage of outstanding pitching performances. We are going to cover 4 separate no-hitters or perfect games that all occurred within like the first couple of days of competition. I can't ever remember such a hot start to the spring sports season.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, it's usually you never know what you're going to get, especially at the beginning of these baseball and softball seasons because of weather, because of, the arms aren't quite in shape yet, and kids are scrambling to get all the practices in. So you just don't know what you're going to get. But I think this domination from the pitching mound and the circle is, that's a little bit surprising.
For sure. Well, let's start with opening day. Today is opening day for Major League Baseball, Scott. I've got my Red Sox jersey on. They're currently tied 2-2, top of the 9th in Texas. So I've got it kind of on in the background as we're doing the show here. So opening day, high school baseball season, Buell takes the field. They are taking on Declo. Buell gets the 11-0 shutout victory. And along the way, the Higley brothers, Porter and Remington, combine for a perfect game. Porter goes 5 innings, 12 strikeouts. Remington takes the final inning. He retires the side in order, striking out 2 of the 3 batters he faced. A perfect game from 2 siblings right out of the gates. That's a good start for Buell.
I'd say that's a pretty good start, and that's a pretty good battery that they've got there with Porter and Remington. And because obviously Porter is the ace. He's the guy that's going to, make a living on the bump this year. And the guy behind the dish, the backstop, is Remington. So, I mean, what a combination and a battery of brothers, if you will. And, that's a pretty good deal. But, this was a game that wasn't supposed to go quite like that. The opener, they're trying to get, just 2 innings, 3 innings tops with their arms, right? Because nobody's really, like you said, nobody's really in shape for this yet. But he was bringing it. He had all of his stuff, and he was in good shape, but his pitch count was so low because he's just mowing through everybody. It's like, well, let's keep him in. And next thing you know, here we go. We got the no-nos.
Yeah, pretty incredible. Perfect game. That means no hits, no walks, no errors, nobody on base besides the minimum. This game went 6 innings with the 12-0 win. So they faced a total of 18 batters, and all 18 were retired in order. So congratulations to both Porter and Remington Higley there for the Buell baseball team, which is off to a pretty decent start this year as well. I know they competed over a spring break in the big Bucks Bags tournament over in the Boise Valley. So
yeah, no, they're a good start for Buell. They're off to a 4-2 start, 3 shutout wins. 3 of those 4 wins by shutout. And you talk more about the Higley guys. Porter is a guy that the coaches are trying to get to play at the next level, but his first love's football. So he's really trying to get that to happen for him. Meanwhile, Remington's already committed to Salem University for baseball. And so you're going to hear a lot more from these two when it comes to Buell Indian baseball.
For sure. And I misspoke. They were not at the Bucks Bags tournament. They went to the Bill Betts Memorial Tournament in Fruitland over there at Fruitland and Payette. So Buell, like you said, 4-2 start. They're 1-0 in conference play with a win already under their belts there. Okay, let's move to a team we talk about a lot this time of year. It seems like doesn't matter if it's baseball, softball, whatever, as the Boston Red Sox just take the lead in the top of the ninth. Sorry.
As long as they stay on the under. I've got the under.
Well, 3-run home run, so 5-2 now. The Glens Ferry Pilots, Scott, this is a program we talk about a lot in baseball and softball, certainly. Glens Ferry comes out the second day that they can compete, Thursday, March 13th, and a pair of teammates combine their efforts into a no-hitter. It's Alan Macias and William Guidison. They are taking on American Falls, and they get a 16-0 win over the Beavers. So that's 2 levels higher than what Glens Ferry is used to competing against. And again, a combined no-hitter, 12 strikeouts for Macias over 4 1/3 innings. Guidison picks up a strikeout in the final 2/3 of an inning. The only blemishes here, Scott, the only thing that separated them from a perfect game and a no-hitter, each of them walked one guy. So outside of the 2 walks, it's a no-hitter.
Yeah, and again, that's something you don't see a whole lot, especially in the early going, is that kind of control and that kind of accuracy, especially if you're pitching in some, inclement weather, which is really what spring is all about in Idaho. So, to have that kind of control early on, man, that means good things for Glens Ferry. But but what a good combination that was, especially with Macias. I mean, we're going to talk about him more in just a second because he wasn't quite finished making his entrance into the 2025 season.
No, he sure wasn't, because just Friday, Saturday, 3 days later, Monday, March 17th, Macias takes the bump again for Glens Ferry. And after combining for the no-hitter with Guidison against American Falls, Macias says, you know what? I got this one myself. They're taking on Lighthouse Christian. That is a league rival. A 10-0 victory over the Lions. And Macias, again, does the job. 10-0 win, pitches a no-hitter, and again, just 2 walks, the only obstacle between that perfect game and the no-hitter. But over 5 innings, Macias with 11 strikeouts and just the 2 walks. I mean, I can't ever remember somebody doing this in back-to-back starts on the mound, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, that's 23 strikeouts in 2 starts, and they don't even go the distance, right? So, I mean, think about that. I mean, you want to break down that last one. If it goes 5 innings, that's 15 outs. 11 of those were strikeouts. So I mean, if you're in the outfield or the infield for Glens Ferry when Macias is on the hill, I mean, you can take probably a little nap. Watch some Netflix, do something, because you're not going to see the ball very often.
Yeah, Alan Macias this year, 13 strikeouts against no walks. And he's got a microscopic 1.0 ERA. So, I mean, that's just incredible for Alan Macias. And, of course, Glens Ferry off to a nice start. They're 1-0 in conference. That's where it really counts. They're 3-4 overall, but they have challenged themselves with a rigorous schedule out of the gates. And so good things happening for the Glens Ferry Pilots. Congratulations to Alan Macias, a combined no-hitter and then a true no-hitter on his own. And then finally, Scott, let's go inside the softball circle where, again, this is a team we seem to talk about a lot in the spring, Kimberly, where Mallory Kelsey is one of the best players in the Valley, regardless of classification size, and really just one of the better athletes in the Valley. But here she is in the softball circle. She picks up right where she left off from a season ago. Season debut, 15-0 victory over Marsh Valley. She delivers a perfect game, Scott. 5 innings, no runs, no hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts for Mallory Kelsey.
Yeah, like I said, just picking up where she left off, all conference last season, and and that's the thing about softball. You can have anybody up and down that lineup, but if you don't have somebody in the circle, then forget it. Uh, your chances of winning are not going to be great. And to have her, boy, throwing every game for you, Mallory, they're going to win a lot of ball games. And what a great way to start. That Kimberly team's going to be pretty good. I mean, they're off to a 6-1 start, and their only loss was to 6A Thunder Ridge. And, they've got wins over Idaho Falls and Capital. They have a tie with Lake City. So this Kimberly team is really, really good.
Yep. 6-1-1 to start the year for Kimberly, and Mallory Kelsey, not only doing it in the circle, but she's already hit a couple of home runs at the plate as well. So a great two-way player for the Kimberly softball team. Scott, are you getting to – oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is a Kimberly team that's just in their early starts of the season have scored 98 runs. I mean, they're averaging 12 a game. I mean, these guys they're an offensive juggernaut. And then you've got, Mallory in the circle. I mean, tough team to beat, I'm telling you.
No doubt about it. Scott, have you gotten to a busier part of where you're going on your tour? I could hear some music in the background. And
oh yeah, we are right down Bourbon Street right now. As you can see behind me, we're leaving part of Bourbon behind. And we are coming up. We are on Bourbon Street, right? Yeah, I tell you what, there are so many cool little places up and down this French Quarter that you could just get lost here for days. I mean, all the little shops and the history and the trinkets and everything that you imagine New Orleans to be, with all the the voodoo and just the colors, and it's quite something. It's quite something.
For sure. All right, Scott. Well, we will wrap up this abbreviated edition of the Magic Valley Prepcast so you can get back to enjoying your vacation down in the Big Easy. I will say we do have two quick comments from our good friend Frank Case, the head softball coach at Glens Ferry. Finally, spring sports, he says. And then he follows up with, hey, give my girls some love against Melba Sahira Arevalo, grand slam, 7 RBIs, and Taylor Martinez, oh, by the way, 4-0 inside that pitcher circle for Glens Ferry. Yeah, don't worry, Coach Case. We're going to be talking about the Lady Pilots softball team a lot this season.
Oh, yeah. No question about it. So there's just a lot to get to early on, and trust me, Coach, we will be there. And, I should mention, too, I mean, I was going to say this earlier, as we have a little bit of time to talk, Brandon, I've got a carriage ride for a half an hour here, and I can't end it early. And we're 15 minutes in, so we got room to talk about stuff if you want to talk about stuff.
Well, I thought maybe you would want to spend some time talking to your significant other, but that's.
Oh, I mean, it's 11 days of that, man.
Oh.
Take a break.
Yeah, you're going to enjoy sleeping in the doghouse tonight for sure.
Oh, no kidding. I did want to mention this, though. Glens Ferry Wooden Bat Tournament coming up soon. April 10th through the 12th. And I know we've talked about that on previous shows. And if you haven't had a chance to go check it out, do it. It's a lot of fun. And it's certainly a different game that these boys play with those wooden bats.
Yeah, we're coming up on that part of the season, Scott, where early on the Treasure Valley hosts a lot of the early season tournaments because the weather seems to be nicer over there. Like last weekend, we had those big spring break tournaments where just about every softball and baseball team was over in the Treasure Valley playing. But then as we flip to April and the calendar gets a little nicer, we do see the Magic Valley start to host more events. You mentioned the Glens Ferry Wood Bat Tournament for baseball. That always runs concurrently with a softball tournament that Glens Ferry also hosts. And there's some pretty good softball teams that are coming down to that this year. You've got there's the nice view of, you still on Bourbon Street there, Scott?
No, we turned off onto, I think we're on Royal. Yeah, Royal Street. See?
Okay.
I'm local. Look at me. I know where I'm at.
You're going to be giving the tours here. I'm going to be down in New Orleans like 5 years from now, and I'm going to go, Boy, I wonder whatever happened to that Scott Burton. And then you're just.
Oh yeah, I'll be on some street corner playing the little triangle, trying to earn a buck.
Yeah, no, you're going to be giving the tour on my
Oh, yeah.
horse and carriage ride. Yeah.
And I should say music on every corner too. So it is. I mean, it is bananas.
Yeah. A good time for sure.
I highly recommend. But
for sure.
Back to your point about spring and the sports and those kind of things is, man, it used to be all of the eastern Idaho schools would call the Magic Valley and, hey, can we come play because our field's still buried in snow? And over the last couple of years, we haven't even been able to play in the Magic Valley because we've been buried either in snow or rain. And so it's like a big giant migration to the west to Boise, and that's where everybody goes now, almost exclusively.
Yep. Yeah, we talked about Glens Ferry is going to host the baseball and softball tournaments concurrently. Coach Case says he's going to send a schedule. That would be great. If you could give me a master schedule of the games and who's playing, that would be fantastic. And Coach Case also says, enjoy your vacation, Scott. So you've earned it for sure.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. We took a chopper ride around the city yesterday. We're headed to the Pelicans and Golden State Warrior game tomorrow night. Managed to score some floor seats there right across from the Warrior bench. So Steph Curry up close and personal, and getting ready to go on a steamboat thing here in just a little bit. And man, we're just living it up, doing our thing. Oh, and we got the tickets to Kevin Hart on Sunday.
Okay, cool. That's where's that going to be at?
Right here in New Orleans. He had a show here that was canceled back in February, and it just so happened that the makeup is now. And we were in the right place at the right time.
Cool. That'll be a lot of fun for sure. Yes, so you were mentioning all of the spring break tournaments that happen. We also have Kimberly softball always hosts a little spring break tournament. The Lady Dog Classic, I think is what it's called. And then Buell baseball always hosts their mid-season classic as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun to see who comes down and competes in all of these kind of 1 month into the season type of tournaments in the Magic Valley. Scott, I will mention, we're talking about spring sports. Track and field has started as well. We published our big statewide season preview for Idaho track and field earlier today. Marlo Herford wrote a very detailed breakdown of every classification, teams, athletes, events to keep an eye on in track and field. It's right on top of the homepage at IdahoSports.com. I wanted to ask you 2 track and field questions while we're on the subject. I know we didn't have this in the rundown, but one of the big storylines in the Magic Valley is Carly Bear from Burley, who has a freshman last year at state, brought home 1 first-place finish and 3 second-place finishes. Well, she has transferred to Kimberly. So that's where the Bear family originally was, Kimberly.
Right.
They transferred to Burley. Now Carly, who's a sophomore, is back at Kimberly. And just by that one move, we kind of said it when Gatlin Bear originally transferred from Kimberly to Burley. That's like 40 track and field points that are affecting the out race of the 5A track and field meet. Now Carly Bear going back to Kimberly, you're looking at 30 or 40 points that Kimberly can now stockpile in that 4A team race. I mean, that is a monumental swing.
Oh, absolutely. No question about it. We heard the rumors that the Bears were going to come back to Kimberly after Gatlin's stint in Burley for football, and here we are again. And to your point, absolutely. You get a couple of athletes like that. You get one athlete like that, they're an absolute game changer. You get 2, you're winning a state trophy. You get 3, you're a state champion. I mean, that is just how powerful those points are from one single person. It's just amazing. And she is going to take Kimberly to new heights on that track team.
Yep. And then I wanted to get your opinion, Scott. Officially this year, javelin, official event. They're going to have it at districts. They're going to have it at state. Last year, teams could have the javelin in regular season competitions if they wanted to, kind of like the shot clock. It was like a soft opening last year. This year, it's official. Javelin, what do you think?
Wow, it's going to be really interesting, and I think my initial reaction when they first talked about this a couple of years ago was kind of the over-under on how many people were going to come close to getting hit with it, I mean, you're giving big giant spears to high school kids. I don't know. I mean, I just know what I would do. But I think once the logistics part of it gets figured out, then it'll be good. I mean, I think we've gotten a lot of interest on our end that from kids that want to do it, and from the surrounding areas, we know that there are kids that are interested. It's something new, and why not? But yeah, so it's going to change a little bit on kind of the layout of things. I know at our school that we're doing, we're going to have to clear the infield and throw the javelin there. We had to build a kind of a javelin runway, if you will, so we could throw it into the infield on the football field. So logistics-wise, get it figured out. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, when I grew up in Montana, Scott, we always had javelin. That was just something that was available. And so it was weird when I moved to Idaho, and I'm like, what, you guys don't have javelin here? Come on, get with the times.
No. I mean, it took us a while to get the shot clock. So, I mean, javelin was still going to be a couple of years out.
That's true. That's very true. Okay, let me get your thoughts on this too, since we're kind of really diving into spring sports for the first time. I'm just getting your thoughts on these wide-ranging topics. Baseball this year, now officially, the baseball state championships are officially sanctioned by the Idaho High School Activities Association. That wasn't the case in years past. The IHSAA basically oversaw the regular season and then said, okay, coaches, you run your own state tournaments, and it's not officially sanctioned or anything like that. You're in charge of coming up with the trophies and the banners and staffing it and all that stuff. Well, the IHSAA has taken it over, but they have given the coaches a lot of flexibility and creativity in setting up a state tournament that they want to run. And so what has come about is that the classifications, Scott, are going to adopt kind of the college model of having these super regionals prior to the state tournament, where there's going to be 12 teams that make it to state. There's going to be 4 separate 3-team super regionals, and the 4 super regional winners will then meet for a 4-team state tournament. So yes, it's going to span the state tournament over 2 separate weekends. I really like this idea, and I think this could be used as a guinea pig for possible state tournament expansion in other sports.
Yeah, it is certainly going to be the OG of messing things up when it comes to your traditional state tournaments. You know, and you watch the College World Series, and why are we not modeling that? Because, you know, basically what you want to do is you want to get the best teams there. And the way that you can set something up sometimes, especially in district tournaments, is from a baseball perspective, is you space it out. You got one really good arm, maybe a second decent arm. That one good arm you can maximize. And it doesn't necessarily give you the best team. And all those things are exposed when you get to state, because you've got to have those 3 arms, boom, 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 at state 3 days in a row. But that's not what's happening in these super regionals. So I think it's going to be a good thing. It's going to get some getting used to. But I think we're on the right track with it. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think we're going to get the best teams winning state titles. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, especially in baseball, where generally speaking, the more games you play, the better teams that are overall are the ones that are going to continue to win. So
Correct.
I'm excited. So, all right. Well, Scott, I'll let you enjoy the remaining minutes on it's got to be close to wrapping up. So what a lovely pair you two make.
She's my costume designer as well, so she's the one that dressed me up in this stuff. And
yeah,
it was her idea. This was all her idea. I was going to say, well, I got to shoot it from someplace. She goes, okay, well, first of all, you're going to wear this, you're going to wear that, and there's no discussion. I didn't really have a say in it. And then it was her idea to, hey, hop on a carriage and let's do it there. I'm like, why don't I just let you do it? You're my notes. So,
I mean, the options were either this while you're on a carriage ride with the attire you've got on, or it was you're sitting outside at one of those French cafes with a little beret on and your little cup of tea and your beignet. And we don't want that.
Oh, we had beignets this morning. And, they were delicious. I tell you what, the food we have had down here, oh my gosh. I'm probably not going to step on a scale for a little while, but my gosh, the flavors are intense. And last night we went out to this really nice place, and Les had a fish called sheephead. Look it up. And
Okay.
it's one of those fish that you know how they have like the ugly dog contest sometimes?
Oh
Imagine, you see it?
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you can throw that picture up there or not.
Yeah, let me share my screen here. Oh my gosh, that is hideous.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as you get it up there, I'll tell you what I know. But let's see. Yeah, that thing right there.
Ah,
I know, right? And so you see that and you're thinking, okay, it's photoshopped, whatever. But no, that is a fish with like human teeth in a way. But the reason why they have it is because they eat clams. And in order to open the clamshells, they've got to have those teeth, and that's why they have them. But I tell you what, it is a delicious fish. It is so good.
oh my gosh, that's gonna haunt my nightmares tonight, Scott. Wow.
Oh, I know, isn't it? I know. We're sitting at dinner, and neither one of us really had kind of an idea about what it was. And so she's sitting there eating, and all of a sudden I pull up on the phone, and I'm like, "This is what you're eating right now." Almost ruined the meal, but it was still that good.
Oh my gosh. Well, on that note, just wrapping up the thoughts about the Super Regional for baseball. Sean Kane from the East Idaho Prepcast, he's on board. He likes the Super Regional. So we'll see if the popularity is there as we progress further into the season. Scott, we really appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your vacation and your carriage ride around New Orleans to talk Magic Valley spring sports with us.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Last time we were in LA a couple of times before. We were going to shoot it on Venice Beach, but then the rain came down like crazy and weren't able to do it. This time, we got it done. Full regalia and everything.
Yep. You look sharp, so stay safe down there and have a safe flight back home as well, Scott.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for tuning into the Magic Valley Prepcast, everybody. Back to the normal format next week. For Scott Burton, I'm Brandon Baney. Thanks for tuning in on IdahoSports.com.